Hey guys, so for any DC game fans out there who are unaware, the newest rumor is that Rocksteady Studios is actually making a Suicide Squad game. And initially, when I heard this rumor, I was both skeptical and sort of underwhelmed by the idea, but it's really grown on me, and I'm going to explain why. But first, I just want to quickly explain why I think that this could be happening in the first place, why I'm giving any thought even to this rumor. So what we know from insiders like Jason Schreier is that it's a team-based game set within the DC universe, and also that from job listings we know that they've hired games as a service type people, so we know it's some kind of multiplayer game. We've also heard that like there's a concept artist his only job is to work on designing guns. So when you think about it, that really does not sound like a Titans game. That sounds more like a Suicide Squad game. Like, if we're playing with a lot of guns and it's kind of a looter shooter based game, and it's also set within the DC universe, I like genuinely, there's no one else besides the Suicide Squad that really sounds like, unless they're doing like some kind of make your own character type thing, which I really hope that they don't do. I feel like that would be detrimental to any type of story that they're trying to tell. Actually, you know what? If they made that multiplayer exclusive, if in the multiplayer you get to design your own Suicide Squad member and go out in the Gotham City streets, that would be epic. But like in the story, I want to play, as these like I want to play as Harley Quinn and Deadshot and Deathstroke and these big A and B list characters, rather than trying to design my own character because they already have the DC universe online, which isn't great. But you like that's kind of my point. That's not the style of game that I would like necessarily. They may be able to pull something off with it, but again, I hope it's Suicide Squad if it's anything. And the reason that I've kind of come around to this idea was because when I was making the thumbnail for the first video, I was looking at the characters, and I'm looking at the Arkham version of Killer Croc and Harley Quinn and Deadshot and Deathstroke, and then they could bring in characters like Killer Frost, King Shark, and it genuinely just seems like such a great idea. And my main reasoning for that is that it's something familiar, but it's also something very different. It's not something that we'd be accustomed to. We're used to playing Batman games from them. And so this would really change up the formula. And what I find interesting is that everyone seems to be against this idea. There's kind of a lot of backlash against a Suicide Squad game. Like, I've gotten a lot of comments of people like, oh, this would be the most disappointing thing ever. And I've seen things on Twitter like, no one wants a Suicide Squad game. And honestly, I would agree to some extent if it was a certain way. If it's only like a big multiplayer microtransaction fest, then yeah, I'm not interested. But if that is only one mode and the microtransactions are for cosmetics, and maybe you're even designing your own character for that, and then the Gotham Knights members like Slickmoth, Salvage, Hero Shots, the Arkham channel could all play. That'd be sick. That'd be epic. But I'd also want there to be some kind of single player or even local multiplayer mode for the main story where you're playing as Harley Quinn and Deadshot and Deathstroke and Killer Croc and all of those great Suicide Squad members. And it honestly makes a lot of sense to do something like that because we've and actually they could even, sorry, I'm kind of segueing here, but they could do something very linear. They could go back to more of an Arkham Asylum style of game for the main campaign if they have a big open world for the multiplayer. So just like, I don't know, there's a lot of interesting things that they could do with it. But with the Suicide Squad, most of the members are in the Arkham games. Harley Quinn's in it, Killer Croc's in it, Deadshot, Deathstroke. So they could already pull a lot of these characters that people are already somewhat familiar with and give them a lot more screen time and a lot more backstory. And, the Assault on Arkham film, which technically I guess is canon. I don't know if I really consider it canon, but technically it's canon to the Arkham games. Like the Suicide Squad went up against Riddler and Joker, and so I could definitely see them pulling in other Arkham universe villains. We could see the Arkham universe version of Killer Frost, King Shark, Ratcatcher, and some interesting villains. And they could even bring villains who aren't necessarily normally involved, like Scarecrow. And I just think it would be such a great idea. And they could set it after Batman Arkham Origins and, have them fighting Batman, or set it after Arkham Knight and have them fight the Bat family, or, like Two-Face and Penguin or something. Like, they could do something really cool. And I'm just really invested in this idea, to be completely honest. I think that not only does a single-player campaign for these characters sound like a really great idea, and again, something we'd be familiar with, but also something very different and something that we aren't really used to. Not only would it be that, but also the multiplayer idea is starting to grow on me if they do it correctly. And I do have faith that Rocksteady is not 100% incompetent. I think Warner Brothers probably learned their lesson from Shadow of War. So I'm hopeful that we won't have a super microtransaction heavy game and that it'll probably just be for cosmetics. If that, maybe it won't even be that. It might, like games as a service doesn't necessarily mean that it's gonna suck your wallet dry. It could just mean that they're updating it a lot and have different features. So I'm really interested to see if this is the case. Again, I think that actually the design your own avatar would work for the multiplayer mode, and I'm just really I'd be stoked if this is what they announce. I don't believe that whole marketing rumor that was leaked or whatever. It looks like it was written by like a 12-year-old. But all the major news sources are picking it up, and also this is kind of the first time that we're not getting a lot of deep confirmation. Like the whole Suicide Squad rumor is getting bigger and bigger, and yet Rocksteady, Jason Schreier, people like that in the community are not exactly shutting this one down. So I find that very interesting. But anyways, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Like I said, I'm very excited to see if this is what they have, because I think it would actually be possibly the best. Honestly, I would have preferred a Superman game if I'm being honest, but at the same time, I think that this is really where they'd shine more than just about anything. And I'm all for like a Flash game and a Green Arrow game. They probably won't do Green Arrow because he's not a big enough character yet. But like an Aquaman game, I'd be totally down for those. Wonder Woman. But with that being said, I think Suicide Squad would fit Rocksteady a lot better, and I think Warner Brothers should look at hiring other studios to work on other characters for them as well. But again, I'll be talking about Warner Brothers Games Montreal very quickly in a future video, maybe even later today. But anyways, thanks you guys so much for watching. Please be sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and let me know in the comments if you're excited if this is what they do, or if you're really hoping that they don't do this. And we'll see you guys in the next one.